What is up, guys? Real Diversity here. We're back with another Dr. Stone review slash prediction video. So, season just ended, which is good and bad. So, the good news is there is a season two coming, where it's confirmed, and that's the good news. The bad news is season one's over. We have to wait. Which always sucks in terms of when you're watching animes you enjoy, waiting for the next season to come out, or just the anime ending. So we should be glad it is the one. Those are the two bad options. We should be happy. This is the worst, the better of the worst options. Because instead of it being over, it's just we're just waiting for the next season. So all good here, and so I hope you guys have been following up and keeping up, and with plot wise and story wise and all that good stuff. So we're gonna just break down. Should we do a complete? No, we'll review the episode and then we'll do a prediction for what we think was gonna happen season two, which is pretty obvious. But so the review, we're gonna review the last episode, which was, it always saddens me when we talk about Senku's dad, and just kind of like how they didn't even have a chance of reviving humanity. When you really think about it, a lot of stuff could have, like, everything could have went back to normal if they could have found the purification back then. Like, everything, the planet was still in, well, not the planet, obviously the planet will always be fine, but just the cities were still intact, the technology was still intact. If they could have figured out how to unpurify people, unpetrify, I think, or unstone them, I'll say it like that. I don't know if I'm saying it wrong or right. I can't remember if it's petrify or pure. Yeah, I think it's petrify. Petrification, I think, was what they called it, and things like that. So, if they found the way back then with Senku's dad, a lot of stuff could have just, it would have just been over right then and there. But in those were elite scientists, astronauts, in fact. I'm surprised that they couldn't just, I don't know. I'm just really surprised they couldn't figure it out, back then. So, Senku figured it out once he was stoned, and that's where we are now, 24 episodes later. So Senku, basically, to wrap things up, is just kind of how the episode really went. It's just to wrap everything up together. So it fired up the village for what's happening next, which is the Stone Wars 2. It just kind of summed up that the village now is a full kingdom of science, and they're all kind of pretty much accepted Senku, which I think I mentioned last episode, but he's pretty much now officially, like, accepted by everyone, and everyone trusts him, and he just has full control over the village in a sense. So that's the next thing we kind of finished or got from that episode. And then also, by the way, guys, this is all off the top of my head. I don't like script these episodes. I just watched the episode, so I know. But a lot of times if I stutter, I have to think or pause or something like that, it's because I don't script these, and it's not like bulletin. I'm just knocking off stuff. But this is just kind of me just going off the dome with this one. So yeah. And Senku, pretty much, yeah, I think he has accomplished, as much as he can right now by himself. I think now he's gonna need more help, which he won't be able to get more help until after the Stone War. But as far as, like, everything he's accomplished, I think he's at his limit now. Maybe they could build some more stuff, but I think they have everything they possibly can have right now. So in terms of science wise, yeah. So okay, do we want to, not predictions yet? What else happened? Okay, the record. Yeah, we'll talk about the record. Like I said about Senku's dad, it's always sad when he could bring him up, because, like, everything he's left, he's did this. Everything he pretty much did was to prepare Senku when Senku came around, which is, I guess, I'm assuming they weren't too far off. Wherever they landed in the ocean, they weren't too far from where Senku and them. I don't know why. They were on an island. They were on an island. Okay, now this doesn't make sense because I'm pretty sure when Senku and that the space crew, that astronauts, when they landed, they were on an island. That's why they couldn't get to like cities and things like that. But if that was the case, why is the village so close to where Senku was on stoned at? Why is it so close? Because if they were that close to like buildings and stuff like that, why couldn't they have just gone and like lived in houses and whatever, whatever for those last years? But and why Senku, just think about that. So they were on island. Apparently, is what they weren't. That's why they couldn't do a lot of things or they were limited, was because they were on an island. But why now, 1,000 years later? Or obviously the village could have migrated, but I'm pretty sure the village has been in the same spot for ever. So the village is where it is now, and they're super close to where Senku was unstoned at, so they must be where Senku pretty close to where Senku used to live at. So why didn't they ever go habitate some of the nearby houses? Unless it's just a real plot hole, right? I don't know if what is, maybe I missed a detail or something there, but that doesn't add up to me at all in the slightest. But yeah, so basically they played the record. Senku's dad got the village fired up. He just kind of gave Senku some words of encouragement, things like that. And like I was saying earlier, he really just kind of laid the groundwork for Senku with these stories they made and things like that, which was a hint to even that there was a record. And then next, just like all like 100, like just the whole stories, even the last story I think just mentioned Senku, and so people, they know once Senku came around, they would know who he was and stuff like that. So it's just he really just kind of like set up Senku to get to where he is now, pretty much. So which is really great. And that was pretty much the first half of the episode. Second half, or not the second half, but pretty much the end, we saw Taiju in them again. Taiju was, it's been a year. I think he looks different from what I've seen. It looks like his hair grew or cut. I can't tell. Honestly, it's been so long since we've seen him, but I'm pretty sure his hair is grown, is what I want to say. And yeah, he so and we saw some of Takasa, some of his elitist soldiers. So we're gonna see them next season as well, and we just kind of got a little glimpse. And he's just still in the ready to destroy the Kingdom of Science mood right now. So that is where we're still at with him. So that pretty much sums up that episode. Yeah, nothing too crazy. And yeah, basically they're just ready. They're finished. They've done everything. It showed a few flashbacks of everything they've just accomplished. Basically, where they are now, and basically getting this phone, which is their greatest weapon. So in this battle, so we're gonna jump to predictions for season 2. Season 2 prediction is one, obviously Stone War. Let me throw this out there. We know Kingdom of Science is gonna win. I mean, that's just how animes go. There's always a struggle, and then the good guys always win. Now, the way they win isn't always clear cut. It isn't always clean. There's usually always still some tragedy. Now, two things I see happening. Now, I thought there wasn't a manga, but I think I found out that recently that there actually was. But I don't keep up with that. Or am I mistaken? That's why that's why I started making these videos anyway. Is because I thought there wasn't a manga for it, but I think there actually is. But anyways, I think in season 2, what's gonna happen is either Chrome or Senku, one of those two, I think may end up dying. It's just my straight up prediction. I think that's just what the ultimate trade off. Now you may be like, how is Senku gonna die? Don't we need him? Well, if you paid attention to the show, Chrome has been learning and learning and learning. So he's definitely not nowhere near Senku's level. But I think basically he would, by that point, Senku, if he gets off, he would be ready to pretty much take over or whatever. So I can foresee that happening. I truly do. And you may be like, nah, they wouldn't take out Senku, but I think that's a real possibility. Or Taiju, could be Taiju, one of those two. Could be just someone significant. It's not gonna be obviously, yeah, it's gonna be probably. I don't want to say casualties. It may be casualties, but I doubt that. I think there's just gonna be like one or two big deaths, and that's about it. I don't think we're gonna have like a bunch of like casualties. Obviously, the village itself is small enough anyway. It's not even enough people to to off. But I think yeah, it's just gonna be some very small. So I don't even think Tukasa, yeah, I think there we go. I don't even think he's gonna die. So yeah, it's just a lot that's uncertain of what's gonna happen. But obviously, we know there's gonna be a fist fight, and we're gonna see the skills of his soldiers, Takasa's soldiers, and we're obviously gonna see how they use the phone. Is obviously the main and most obvious points that are gonna happen. Now, obviously, the majority of season two will be focused on the Stone Wars, but I have a feeling that won't be the whole season. Obviously, I don't think they're gonna battle the whole season, which the whole season could be 24 episodes, or they could shorten it. It might just only be 12. So a lot of times the seasons after the first season are usually sometimes shorter. Just because they know that the anime is succeeding, so they know they got time to do more seasons, things like that. And unlike the first season, which they want to try to cover as much as they can, not knowing if the anime will continue or not. But here, season two, I've also believe, and I've been saying this. If you watch any of my videos, you already may even know what I'm about to say. But I think obviously once they're done fighting Takasa and Senku and the armies, they're obviously gonna, I think, join forces. If that isn't obvious enough, they're gonna join forces, or even Senku maybe just be able to convince everyone to come to his side, and then off Takasa. Maybe one of the two happens, but obviously the Kingdom of Science will ultimately prevail here, and I think that's gonna be what leads us into the next part of what I think is gonna be. Obviously, the world was petrified. We don't know how they all became stone. And even though it's been thousands of years later, I think whatever threat that was is still around. And that once they join forces, or once everyone is on the same page, that will be the next threat that comes. And then they got to deal with, well, how did everyone become stoner? Then maybe it's an organization that's still around. It might even still, we might, listen, don't be surprised. This is way, this is my own idea. I promise I've come up with this just from watching the series. Don't be surprised if after the stone, quote unquote, stone war is over. Do not be surprised if you see helicopters and 18-wheeler, SUVs pulling up, military helicopters, military SUVs, military people just pulling up on Senku and them. And don't be surprised when you see some modern day stuff, because I really think, even though it's been thousands of years later, I really think that there's still a group around of people. So I really think that that's just literally my ultimate theory, is that once the Stone War is over, there will be a reveal of a underground group that there's the reason that the Earth was stoned. And I think that's just what we're gonna see. So anyways, that's my prediction for season two. Hope you guys enjoy it. Like I said, that is the last episode we're gonna have for this. So we're gonna be jumping on some different animes in the meantime until season two comes out. So stay tuned, hit that subscribe button, share this video, leave a like if you've enjoyed this series so far. And like I said, we'll be back when the next season comes out. So please stay tuned. Real Diversity, we're out. Peace.